forgetting he was there. Right? I was like, oh, I forgot about you. Yeah. You were here.
But the scene that strikes me kind of leaves an impression on my mind, a good, indelible impression I'm not going to get out, is Elias on the ground.
In the jail.
Sleeping in jail with his ass up.
Yeah, we'll get to that 1 second again. We cut to Leonardo Burrow Hall, which, by the way, is not a real place. I tried to look it up last night. Not a real place. Because Leonardo is not a big city. I learned this when I was there to visit Quick Stop back in the summer. It's not a big city. It's maybe 5 or 6 blocks. It's not a big city on the outskirts of Red Bank. This is not a very big city, like at all for any reason. And the Quick Stop's like buried in the back of like a side street. Like it's so hidden, it's ridiculous. If you don't know where it is, it's one of those like you're not gonna find it if you don't have directions. It's that hidden.
Oh, it's sort of like Rhode Island. Well, welcome to Rhode Island. Thanks for visiting Rhode Island.
Yeah, now leaving Leonardo.
So we cut to the Borough Hall, and apparently the Borough Hall is where the jails are, which apparently that's the same thing. Why not?
Well, you did say it is a small town.
True, and but this place doesn't exist. So, and then we see on the back as we cut back, and I love the fact the combination of the music ends at this place with Dante sitting in there. Like almost like the pose from the first movie.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same pose at the beginning of the first movie where he was behind the register in the first movie? Pose there, and then we have in the background Luke 5:32. I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. Which I did look it up, and I actually remember hearing this in church recently. So it's really funny how it all ties together. That they just did this whole spiel in church recently. So I think it's pretty funny.
Kevin Smith makes the best Christian films.
Yeah, we learned that earlier in our run. So go back to our episode with, who was that? With a guy from Mystic Minute. Which one of the guys was that? Was that John? Was that John?
I think, yeah.
I talked about that. Go back to that episode to understand that joke.
Yeah.
What, they couldn't put an Austin 3:16 verse in there?
No, because they're actually, I looked up the Bible verse because I was curious. It's a curious context of where we are.
Uh-huh.
This is actually, where is my notes here? Luke 5:30-32. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law who belonged to their sect complained to his disciples, why do they eat and drink with tax collectors and sinners? Jesus answers them, it is not healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. And I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. I'm not quite sure what this has anything to do with what's going on here, but there you go.
But you gotta give credit. You gotta give
rehabilitation.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for tying it in.
So basically, you gotta give Kevin Smith his just due.
Nice
on
deep
that.
cut. Nice deep cut. Because he had obviously made this set.
Yeah.
Nice deep cut for the Bible for him. For the guy who made Dogma, did put a nice deep cut into this from the Bible. Very nice.
Well, this is better than God's Not Dead or anything else that Pureflix made.
Yeah, so very nice to have that in here. Elias. Back to Elias.
Do we have to?
Well, we cut to Dante standing in front of the music's over. We literally have no music now for the next 6-7 minutes. We have no music at all. So that's pretty interesting. Very serious moment we're in here. But we cut to Elias, who's passed out, sucking his thumb. How is this comfortable? How the fuck is this comfortable?
It's more he slept where he fell.
True. Because he passed out. He's in his own little area of the cell, oblivious to everything else going on here. And he's on his knees with his ass in the air wearing WWJD boxers. And I didn't put him in notes because Elias.
But, dude.
What would Jesus do? Let's see, considering the placement of the letters there?
Up and to the left.
So, you guys know the reason why his butt's up in the air there, right? Think about it.
That's the way he likes to fuck?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
sorry, you set me up for an Indonesian joke.
Oh, you have to take it up the ass for Jesus.
I had to do the Indonesian joke.
No, it's because he doesn't want to get screwed by another guy in the jail cell. That's why.
So we keep his ass in the air? Isn't that the opposite of how you want it?
That's it.
That makes no sense.
Listen, because if he were asleep and had his ass down,
you have to pick him up. So he's actually inviting them to fuck him in the ass. That's pretty much what's happening here.
So is Sexy Stud in there?
No, okay, we'll get to him. We'll get to him. I think our next episode we'll talk about Sexy Stud.
Got it.
So Jay and Bob, I love the visual of Jay and Bob behind bars. By the way, I love that visual. This is a fantastic visual. Jay fucking vu. This is definitely not how you normally say that, but whatever. I'll go with it. Randall Randall is just, he doesn't take anything seriously at this point. Still, nothing seriously.
You know, I'm even wondering if they're even in the cell at all because he's able to open the door.
I will ask a question too, Dad. You used to run a jail.
Yes.
Is this jail still at all close to reality?
Being open?
Open, like, there's different rooms in this thing for all of them, but they're not getting out of the jail, but they're, like, being able to move around the rooms and close doors. And
the cells that we had, the doors were open until someone went in there, then they were shut. But they're not the cells are not as big as the ones that you've seen in the picture.
Because if I'm looking at this right, because we'll get the stuff he said in our next episode, but he's in his own little area with the door open. Then you have Elias passed out in his own little thing, and then you have Randall was in his own little thing, and then he came into Dante, and then Jay and Bob are just kind of hanging out. They're just kind of there.
Then again, maybe Randall and Dante
we're sharing their own. We're sharing one,
or maybe they're not even in the cell because what they did isn't a crime.
True, but again, they're still getting me back. They still got to get questions and everything else.
But what this area is called like a holding area, where basically they're there temporarily until they get charged or get released.
Okay, that makes sense. Though that makes sense. That's what I was about to ask you.
Yep.
That makes sense to you.
Yep.
So this is where one last ridiculous Kevin Smith conversation. One more. This is our last big ridiculous conversation for Kevin Smith. Like, is that right? Is our last one? Because after this, we don't have any more real dialogue. Actually, after the big Randall Dante scene, we don't really have any more dialogue. So that's a good thing. Jail cell designs haven't changed much in centuries. Because that's a question. Is this correct?
For some places, probably not.
How about for Milwaukee?
Oh, they've redesigned, and that's only because of either the cells having wear and tear, and they need to be replaced or redesigned.
Okay. So maybe I love Randall's logic. Maybe it's time they brought in laser bars or something. Okay.
What are we? Is he referencing like Star Wars?
I think he is.
Yeah.
Star Wars or some kind of science fiction.
Oh, there you go.
Well, it should be thankful they haven't brought in the idea from the Running Man, which is the explosive collars.
Wait a minute. The only person that would know would be Kevin.
Kevin is referencing Star Wars. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to ask Kevin. See, maybe you did reference Star Wars.
Well, again, this is not a direct reference, but we do have a direct reference coming in a second. But I love Bob. Bob is just like, yeah, okay, I agree. Of course I do. I'm just going to go with the flow. He's at that point where he's just like, I'm going to go with the flow.
We've already had a lot of weird shit. So.
Yeah, why not? This is the most normal thing that's happened today. This guy right here right now is the most normal thing that's happened in the last 2 hours of my life. So, and Jay is literally now propped up on top of the cage, which is very, very Spider-Man 2-like, I want to say.
Yeah,
It actually kind of looks like a cross between a simian and...
Spider-Man. It's like Spider-Man-like.
Oh, no, it's a simian and Spider-Man in the wrestling ring.
Yeah, I think it's Spider-Man. I was going Spider-Man. That's where I was heading.
There's Spider-Man in the wrestling ring in the first movie.
So
right around the time where he goes, that's a nice outfit. Did your husband make it for you?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was... The first thing I think when I say that. So
is Jay going to, leap off and do, an elbow drop?
Well, we'll get to... There actually is a wrestling joke in the next episode. So we'll get to that. Okay. So he actually makes an X-Men 2 reference, which I don't remember this reference, so someone please help me. They can make a hard plastic case like Magneto in X-Men 2. I don't remember this reference.
They actually had it at the end of X-Men and in the beginning of X-Men 2.
Explain it. No, I don't remember the reference.
Basically, they made this hard plastic jail cell with no metal parts so he couldn't manipulate it to get out.
Because Magneto controls magnetism.
That makes sense.
What I thought was cool is they even made a nice little plastic chest set for him.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. And Randall scoffs at the idea, let's keep it in the real world. But laser bars is in the real world. But, really?
Well, let's be quite honest. I think the idea of a hard plastic jail cell is still ridiculous.
And that's what he brings up carbonite, which we'll get into in the next episode. We'll get into carbonite.
Carbonite, another reference to Star Wars.
That's a blatant Star Wars reference.
There you go.
So, hey, you get to capture a fugitive and make him into your coffee table.
Yeah, because if you look up carbonite, that's the only thing that comes up in Star Wars. That's the only thing that comes up.
Han Solo and carbonite.
But yeah, like I said, you can capture a fugitive and keep him as your coffee table.
See, there's got to be...
In fact, I think they actually do have a Han Solo and carbonite coffee table.
They do, and they also now are doing a Han Solo and carbonite Lego set.
Boy, there's something for CJ.
Where you could actually, it's like $400, but you can put it together and actually you can send it down like a mechanical. There's stuff at Echo Base.
Yeah.
Where you can go down and then you can actually set it up where he can come back up in carbonite.
Yeah.
The Lego minifigure.
So you got to figure that.
Even better, Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, Han Solo in Carbonite is an unlockable character.
Really?
Yeah, and he just
But-
bounces around.
So this tells us that Kevin Smith is like a Star Wars fan.
Really? We learned that in the first movie.
Duh.
We learned that in the first movie.
Well, there you go.
We knew that already. But it's a nice to have the reference, though. And Bob, of course, agrees. Of course he does, because, well, it's Kevin Smith playing him. He's pretty much playing himself at this point. And that's how we end our minutes. Before we get into the next episode, because this is Friday, people are listening to us on Friday. We're going to be back on Monday. Dad's going to stick around with us to finish up this next scene. Because we couldn't get a guest for the beginning of the jail scene, and we figured why not bring a former cop in for the rest of the beginning of the jail scene.
Well, there you go.
But do you have a history with Clerks 2? We talked about Clerks 1 the last time you were here. Do you have a history with Clerks 2?
Yeah. All I can say with Clerks 2 is that there are scenes that will forever be etched in your mind, and to get them out, you have to have either mass quantities of alcohol or a lot of psychotherapy, depending on your choice.
Or smoking. As this movie learns.
Well, there you go.
Just be a warped bastard.
Just remember, it's for medicinal purposes only.
Kind
Like
of.
I said, or just be a screwed up person. Hi!
Well, that's a different story. Well, that's that. That is this episode. Thank you, Dad, for coming on for this episode.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for inviting me, guys.
We'll be back for our next episode, which will be on Monday for everyone listening.
Oh, definitely.
And Kyle, let's wrap this damn thing up.
Okay.
We are approaching our final week. We're so close. We're getting there. We're almost done with this show. We're in the last couple of weeks of the show. If you leave us a rating or review, we will read your rating and reviews in our series finale, which is going to be in a few weeks. So we'll definitely read that. We're going to wait on recording our series finale until way later in the front, so that we can get it more timely and we can get some ratings and reviews. That'd be great. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Clerks Minute. Join the Clerks Minute convenience store group over on Facebook and comment. Talk about if you know anything about jail cells like Dad does. Maybe you can talk about that and bring it up to us. That being said, we'll see you guys on Monday. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Blake.
I'm Kyle.
Have a good day, everybody.
Porch monkey!
Snorting, smoking weed, doing coke, drinking beers, rolling fatties, smoking blunts. Who smokes the blunts? We smoke the blunts, rolling blunts and smoking.